welcome to another edition of Beer for Breakfast ABV. I am Danielle from The Moog Show on 91X. As always, I have my beer drinking partner in crime with me, Paul Segura from Karl Strauss.
Aloha.
And today, I've got a few who are no stranger to Beer for Breakfast by any means. I've got Society with me today. We have Brandon Hernandez, we have Kevin, and we have Leah Garcia. How's it going, guys?
Great.
Welcome back.
It's the morning and we're drinking.
So Brandon's been on Beer for Breakfast before, but Leah, this is your first time, right? And Kevin, this is your first time.
Absolutely. Welcome.
Welcome, guys. Leah is the tasting room manager, and Kevin is a brewer, and Brandon is chief of marketing, pretty much kind of everywhere, everything.
I bring the
kind
talent,
of guy. You do,
basically, and the beer.
You do.
There you go. My job is here to stand.
You're the guy that we're always looking for, and we appreciate that. So we threw a little pre-funk, did a little pre-gaming before we started. What did we start out with?
We started with the Shrew, and I'm going to let you, Kevin, tell you about this beer.
So the Shrew is a Belgian table, very light, easy drinking, but we've spiked it. Not spontaneous. Yeah, that was bad.
So you've got Brettanomyces and you threw some bugs in there.
Yes. So definitely light, nice citrus notes, little tropical. You get the little pinch of acid and a nice funky finish. Very, very easy.
It does
drinking.
have a nice bready finish.
Yeah.
It's got a nice sort of tartness too that's clean and pineapple-like. And
It kind of reminds me of a shock tart.
Okay.
Yeah.
A very mild shock.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is kind of like our, we make feral beers over at Society. We don't call them sour because there's so much more dimension. What we're really looking for is funk. And this beer's purpose is kind of to take a very low ABV beer, very dry, and give a great canvas for all of the things that we inoculate our beers in the feral program, just to showcase all of that funk. So you can have it unadulterated. And then we incorporate those bugs into different beers that are fruited or more Brett forward. Or
So dumb it down a little bit. What does
That's my specialty.
What does feral mean?
Hit it.
I mean, feral technically means wild, so
Okay.
we're inoculating these beers with, these yeasts that basically are what we call dirty. There's clean side beer, and then there's dirty side beer. These are things that you don't necessarily want in the regular clean side brew house, but they add that funk, that acidity, and like Brandon was saying, we like that balance. That's what we strive for. So we want to hit all the checkpoints. Does it meet that expectation of, is it funky? Does it have acid?
Oh dear.
I think it meets all those expectations.
Yeah.
I think this would be a
Just go
remarkable
for it. Just
base
put your mouth
beer
on
for fruit.
Yeah.
So I already get hints of stone fruit in there. So if you threw peaches on top of this, I think it would be, amazing. But not just peaches. I think raspberry, all sorts of stuff.
Kind of a segue is we're going to be releasing some more sours coming up shortly, wild ales. But
I think you just got everybody's attention out there with that statement. I think people have been waiting.
We're definitely trying to get into the barrel room. It's kind of overbearing at first. There's 150 to 200 barrels in there.
At any given time.
Yes.
So you were going to be heading up that whole project. I'm already heading up.
Yeah,
that project.
we're all kind of working together, but I'm kind of leading, over in the brew house, trying to work our way through that, organize it, kind of prune out some bad ones, get some new ones in there.
Yeah.
So it's a long process. We're hoping to get people excited about it again, and kind of release a single barrel edition, like a small batch edition, and large base scale. So.
Well, I think you guys have a lot of fans out there, and by virtue of that, I mean, no, really.
One thing we want to do.
So if you guys say that you're throwing some barrel program together, you've already got everybody all excited because people like you guys and like your beers already.
Well, it's also knowing the standard that Society has. Like, your guys' standard is so high when it comes to beer that you're not putting out a beer that you don't truly believe in and love.
Absolutely, and for the longest time, the only way to get any of the feral beers was in a bottle, and then we finally started kegging a few when we would bottle. This is exciting because you get to see more of the experimentation that went into getting these beers to where they are now. We're not going to take it to the point where every single thing that comes out of those barrels has to go into a 500 milliliter cork caged bottle. It's just why aren't we sharing this at the tasting room? Everybody should have
I dig it.
It's just more fun new stuff to
dig it.
get than other than the many amazing IPAs.
We want to get the customers that come in that are, always there, get them involved, like, hey, we want to get your feedback on this barrel. Like, how does it taste? How is it going? And then we might scale it up to like a small batch and see what your thoughts are on that. And if that works out well, then maybe we'll do a big batch of it.
Yeah.
So it's just
speaking of high standards, look at the glassware we're drinking out of right now.
I feel so fancy.
It's highfalutin.
Highfalutin. I like fancy better because I don't know what highfalutin means. But,
Fancy.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's a fancy way of saying fancy.
That's a lot of work. Can you spell it?
Some of us have to hide behind vocabulary.
Oh.
But getting off of that joke, this is actually probably my favorite Society beer.
What is this?
The Highwayman. It's our Brett-aged pale ale. And it's gone through many different iterations. There's not a lot of beers that we've made in the Farrell program that have come out 2 or 3 times, but I remember the second anniversary, or it was the first time it ever debuted.
Yes. Yeah, the In the Barrel anniversary that we did, that was the first time we released it, and that was just, in a keg, and then 3 years later, I think we released it big batch, and that was the first release of Highwayman. And it's just nice, funky Brett character, little citrus, nice, another easy sipper.
It tastes like a different Brett strain than the first one we had.
So they're probably pretty similar, some small nuances, but there's three different Brett strains in there.
So I didn't. Okay, so there can be different strains.
Yes.
I just assumed that they were the same.
No, there's quite a few different Brett strains, and we're using 3 that we really like. They're a little bit slower moving, but they're what we call our house strain. So we kind of blend them and go with that.
It's delicious.
You'll notice like there's barnyard funk in there, but as you hold it in the bottle, you can see it develop as well. It's kind of one of those beers you can take a journey with. You open it every 6 months or something like that, get a couple bottles.
Yeah.
Just watch it change. And I don't do a lot of note taking when I do beers, if it's not for an article or something like that. But this is one where you might actually want to like get friends around. Just like every 6 months, let's open one together and like have a bottle share or something.
I think most people associate Brett with like a horse blanket or whatever, but this one has a nice sort of mustiness of like barnyard, like in a pleasant way.
Yeah.
And it's got just a really delicate tartness in the finish, just ever so slight.
Yeah. Just
Makes it
easy,
super refreshing.
Easy drinking is what we go for.
Right,
Nice
yeah, I can
balance.
quaff this.
This one especially, we're trying to push out more of, because it's pretty much 100% stainless, just Brett and blonde, and it just works. I mean, just nice, easy drinking. You can drink it anywhere, anytime.
And it just came out in the bottles last week, so nice and fresh and
Very
ready to go.
nice.
One of the cool things about beer for breakfast, at least for me, is this is a beer that if I had gone to Society, I would never have ordered on my own. Just because, it's not my cup of tea. I don't really like feral beers. I don't like sours. I don't like kettle sours. It's always like a hit right here. However, this is delicious. It doesn't hit me right here where they normally hit me. And this is a beer that, like you said, you can just sit there and sip on it. And
that's one of those things that we're trying for. We don't want those super aggressive sours, and a lot of places are pushing out these sours that are just super aggressive, super sharp. We want the balance, and we want it to be quaffable, drinkable, as it was stated.
Sometimes less is more.
Yes.
And there's a place in a palate for all of that. We're not saying it's wrong or anything, but everybody kind of takes their own direction with these. And I think often we're misunderstood. People come in and say, "Oh yeah, I'll try that sour ale." I said, "Oh, this isn't even sour, bro." It's like, well, you need to know that we're striving for that middle line and bringing a lot of disparate things together to hit right where we want it. And we think we do a pretty good job of it, and I think the people who are kind of into that enjoy it. It's just managing expectations. So today is a really good way to do that.
And I have to commend Leah, your tasting room staff they're so good about talking to whoever's coming up there, whether you know them or you don't know them.
Yes.
They're just full of so much knowledge and are able to talk to you about the beer, not just to let me get a splash of that, let me get a splash of that, let me get a splash of that. Sarah is amazing about explaining the beers. Jacob is amazing at explaining the beers. All of them are wonderful.
And we have a great education program that we want our staff to know these few keywords, but also we want them to put in their own personality characteristics on how they would describe it. Our Feral program, I love selling it to the non-beer drinker. Someone comes in, I don't like IPAs, I don't drink beer. Do you have this and this and that? Sorry, we don't. We just the beer that we make and sell. And I love turning them on to the Ferals, which is a great transition. If someone comes in and says they're a wine drinker, champagne drinker, cider drinker, I'm like, this is not that, but this is has some similar characteristics to it. And all of our staff is educated enough to kind of transition, ask the questions. What flavor profiles do you like? What do you want out of a beverage today? And we'll find the right beer to put in your hand.
And I think that that's so important when it comes to craft beer, especially if,
Huge.
you may be new to it. You may be new and you don't know, what a feral beer is. Maybe you don't know what an IPA is. Maybe you don't know. And it can be really overwhelming when you go into a brewery, especially if, whoever's working just seems like you're more of a nuisance than anything else. That kills me when I see
We
that.
never want to be that fine winery or fine distillery where you go in there and you're so intimidated from the get-go if you don't know about it and everything's just so fancy or highfalutin. We want to be that endearing place where it's really like community is what society is about. Good beers for everybody, and it's I think that our staff nails that. And she might like turning you on to feral beers, but she's soon going to be trying to turn people on to a certain IPA that we're going to make soon. So I'll let her talk about that.
Yes, I'm really excited to announce that we are brewing for the Pink Boots Brew Day, for Women's International Day, we're brewing the Brewster. It's the Pink Boots Society IPA. We have purchased hops from Yakima Chief Hops, YCH Hops, and we're doing a 20-barrel batch on the Big Brew system. We're brewing it on Wednesday, March 6th. It's a staff-only brew because we don't have a huge facility to accommodate everyone, but our launch party will be Saturday, April 6th. And we're doing a big old party to launch it. A great thing from Yakima Chief Hops is $3 from every pound of hops purchased will be going back towards the Pink Boot Society. There are still about, I want to say, Kelly mentioned there's about 56 boxes left of hops. So if anyone hasn't purchased their hops, they can still get some.
Get on it.
And to look ahead, I'm actually in talks with Kelly right now from Yakima, so we will be having a beer for breakfast specifically about the women's brew, and so we're going to have to get some of your guys' to see how yours too.
How is the name Brewster not taken yet?
It's not taken
Such a great name.
yet. And
how many people didn't know Brewster was a female brewer?
The original brewer was the female brewer, the Brewster.
Yeah.
And that's what her name was.
That's so cool.
Right? So,
Super cool. So before, I love this beer, and I'm really excited to get into it, but just a little bit, what's going on with Society? What's happening?
We've been doing a lot of things at our tasting room because we realized that while we have great regulars and new people coming in every day, we kind of want to keep them coming back. And because we have kind of a solid core of so many beers, there's the Feral program that we're adding things to, but we're also doing a lot of really cool events, and we're trying to just make it a place to come every week. There's a great reason to come. And Leah's kind of been at the forefront of all of that, so she's probably the best one to tell you about it.
So I've been working on our tasting room programming with Brandon. We have something going on every weekend of the month. If you come in the first weekend of the month, we've got...
oh no, I did this really badly.
No worries,
so
you're
bad
good.
at this.
First weekend of the month, we have a craft workshop. Second weekend of the month, we have a bluegrass yoga. And third weekend of the month is our beer and food pairing. Every other month will be with the Good Seed Food, located in the Miralani district. And then every other month after that, we'll rotate with to work with a different chef. We just did a pairing with Nomad Donuts. That was awesome.
Very cool.
Highly recommend buying your tickets in advance because we always sell out a week before, which is really cool to say. And then last weekend of the month is always Metal Yoga with San Diego Metal Yoga. And they sell out too, so buy your tickets in advance.
Okay, so I'm so curious. I see this every month, and I'm so curious about it. Do you
It's awesome.
Is it really hard to not bang your head as you're in I'm in downward dog, and all I want to do is head bang, but I might hit my head on the ground.
So the music's playing. They have their shrine set up in the front, candles lit. The space is full. There's about 30 plus yogis in there doing their thing. And I tried it the first couple times. And I really just got into my breathing and in my what I was doing that I forgot music was playing. So it kind of is a different experience for everyone. And it's not an overpowering loud music. It's still more on the subtle side, but it is death metal yoga.
I could see doing like the fire breathing yoga while during death metal.
No.
That is awesome.
Ideas.
Actually,
There
the
it
bluegrass one sounded pretty cool. I dig that.
So bluegrass. So San Diego Metal Yoga came to us. They were looking for a new venue, and we could accommodate them. So we started doing metal yoga. If you haven't been to Society, we have 2 T-shirts. One has hops, yeast, water, malt, bluegrass crossed out, and it says death metal underneath. And then the other one, hops, yeast, water, malt, with the death metal crossed out, bluegrass underneath. So
Very
it kind of
cool.
represents the Doug and Travis of society.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. That was going to be my next
Yes.
question, actually, because I've always
So,
wondered that. Is
yeah.
that where the balance
We
between
just
the
figured
two?
America needed something else to be divisive about.
Yes.
You never know. It's like I got my mom one of those shirts one year for
Yeah.
Christmas, though, where the bluegrass is crossed
Crossed
out
out.
and it's
Nice.
metal because my
Very
mom's
nice.
a big metalhead.
Yeah.
But I always kind of wonder. I was like, is this Doug and Travis?
This is Doug and Travis, yeah.
Travis
bluegrass
is in the
and
corner
metal.
playing his banjo during the bluegrass.
Yes,
music.
and
It's
so
a dobro.
people
Dobro.
assume it's
Dobro,
the
I'm
opposite
sorry.
way.
Sorry, Trav.
Death metal is Doug and bluegrass is Travis, and so we have those shirts made. Now we have yoga to represent each of them. By the way, neither of them have been to either of those classes. I was
Oh.
trying to get Doug to come to death metal this
Doug,
weekend, and
Travis, what do you? Actually, I would love to see Travis do yoga. I can't even imagine.
in some yoga pants too.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, no, wait.
Calling it out,
That
Travis.
image is over the top.
All about the lights.
So this delicious beer right here, it's my favorite beer that you guys. This is actually why I can never get past anything. Is because every time I see it, this is it. It is the pupil, and I love it.
Well, we'll take that. That's awesome. Yeah,
I go back. Okay, I go back and forth between the pupil and the apprentice. And
Yeah, we love all our beers the same. That's really how we approach it. However, we'd be remiss if we didn't recognize the fact that most people, this is the society beer. They love the people. Nelson's Solving Forward. We actually have Doug, our owner, and Teddy, our head brewer, going out to New Zealand just to secure the most ideal Nelson hops they can possibly get. This happening in like a month and a half. Hard hop to get, but we're leading with it, so you can look forward to probably years of amazing versions of the Pupil. This is right off the bright tank. He built it right there for us.
Is it single
It's
hop?
so good.
Single hop Nelson?
No.
No.
There's a cornucopia of hoppage
So it's
going
been
on.
a while since I've had a Nelson hopped beer that's this good.
Yeah, you don't
Because
get any
the
of that
hop has
petrol or
evolved.
anything.
Right. You get a little diesel in there sometimes. You get a little bit of garlic and onion. This has none of that. This is just
So
really
good.
straightforward,
It
beautiful.
seems to be like a crop or a batch thing when you get that predominance of that like rubber type
Yeah,
thing going on.
right.
And that's exactly why they're going out. Because they don't want to end up with a crop where it's like, oh, sight unseen, oh geez, this one's not so good.
Yeah.
Now we're evening it out with Mosaic or whatever it might be. We're not going to be covering up anything. We're gonna get the
Whatever you guys did with this, don't change a thing.
Right.
Because this is so
Delicious.
beautiful.
Yeah, I mean,
this really
this
is.
is my go-to beer when I'm like out in the world, like at a bar or something, and I'm just like, I don't know what to get. And I'll go Pupil. Done. In.
It's hard to go to another bar, even though you're at work every day and you can drink your own beer at Society. Then you go out and you're like, oh, I could risk it. I could go with something else. But sometimes you just want to go with tried and true, and you know it's going to be good. And
I go through that with Thorn all the time because I pour beer at Thorn, and I'll be out in the world and I'll be like, oh, I'm like, I can get that in the tasting room, but like,
Right?
Well, the pour won't be nearly as good, but the beer's going to taste great, right? So speaking of tasting rooms and you and cool things like 91X, isn't there some kind of event happening with 91X and the Moog Show?
I mean, you know, the Moog Show kind of wants to come hang out at Society one day because, you know, our little show has been together for a year almost, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah.
And, so we will be at Society doing the Mix and Mingle on March 11th. I believe that we're supposed to be there at 4, correct? It's on my calendar.
yes.
If not 3:55.
If, well, you know, when you're there on time, you're late.
Right?
The people will be there, so be on time.
The pupil will be there. Be on time.
Will the harlot be there?
Oh, the harlot.
I know you bring
Ah! There it is. Oh no. She's gonna beat
Yes,
you
the
now.
harlot will be there.
All right, thank you. I thought you were making like
Your favorite
a
beer?
reference
I
to
should-
my wife or
I-
something for a minute.
Oh no.
I would look at you cross-eyed here.
No, your favorite society beer, the Harlot Belgian
You know that's my
Blonde
favorite beer.
Ale
Love-
will be there.
love-
so cool.
Love that beer. Have since day
clarify.
one.
Yes. Well, cool guys. Super duper looking forward to Mix and Mingle. That will be at Society on March 11th. If you want to come hang out with the Moog Show, we'll be there starting at 4 o'clock. Basically, just come have a beer. Have a beer.
That's all there is
Cheers
to
to
it.
a beer.
Yeah.
Just come hang out.
Come meet some
chat.
cool people.
And you know what's really cool about, one of the many things really cool about Society, you never know who's going to be there. It seems to just be like the hub
right?
of where people just hang out.
There's
That's
always-
where the whole mix and mingle thing came from. We have like Fall and Carl Strauss and Stone, Burgeon, they're all coming out between now and April. So we figure if you're here anyway, let's just coordinate a Monday, and then like all of our fans can come and just like when they're in the tasting room, come and meet these other breweries who've done so many cool things and are keeping doing things like that. So
Yeah.
That is rad. Well, cool, guys. Anything else you want to, what's the best way to keep up with Society?
Society Brewing on all the Insta, the Twitter,
The
the
socials.
Facebook.
Yeah.
I say it that way on account of the advanced age.
Well, you know, why are
but
you
yeah.
showing your age?
I don't know. I should have wore a hat.
Can't
It was
help
a
it.
spring chicken.
Well, Leah, Kevin, Brandon, thank you guys so much for making a trip over here to the
Cheers.
91X radio station.
Cheers.
for my
Keep
little
up all the
beer
good work,
show.
man. Love you guys.
Little
Yes. And thank you for watching another Beer for Breakfast ABV. Every Friday morning, Paul comes on the Moog Show at 9:20 to tell you what you should be drinking this weekend. And I
think it's
gonna,
this.
And he's
gonna
good at
be
it.
Society. It's gonna be Society.
The
so,
people.
if you've missed anything, you can find all of this at 91x.com. Thank you, and cheers to independently owned craft beer.
Cheers.
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 91X.